Joining me now is the chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Kevin Hassett. Kevin, first start with Senator McCain being in Arizona. So you lose one vote. That takes you down to 51. Basically, every Republican needs to get on board with this. Is that going to happen in the Senate?
Yeah, that is going to happen. And, you know, you're there with Murphy. Murphy and I worked for McCain back in 2000 over at the headquarters in Alexandria. And I can tell you this tax bill is exactly what Senator McCain has been telling America that we need for as long as I've known him. And it's sad to see him not there to vote for it. But I know that if they need his vote, he would come back. That's what he signaled to the White House.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of hero that he is. You know, he would come back. But, you know, he needs to get better. And you know, I myself have gone through chemotherapy. And I know there are times right near the end where you need to just go lay down. And I think, you know, spend some time with your family, get better, come back next year ready to, you know, give us infrastructure and welfare reform. I think that's his plan.
Kevin, do you expect any Democrats to get on board with this? Again, if we can show that tweet from Dianne Feinstein over the weekend, she's bemoaning the fact that the mortgage interest deduction, although still very rich at $750,000, she's saying in California, 7 counties average home prices that are more than $750,000, and she lists them. She's literally upset that some of her wealthy constituents in California might not get, that they're getting a little bit less of a mortgage interest deduction, which, by the way, the median home price in this country is a third of that amount. I mean, there's a lot of
Look, there are a lot of moving, there are a lot of moving parts. The fact is they're going to have a lower rate, but also those people, somebody who can afford $1 million home has also probably got a lot of stocks in the stock market. And those, as you can see, are rallying because of the lower corporate rate and the fact that we're going to have so much more economic growth and wage growth next year. And so I think that probably almost everybody in America is going to be a lot better off because of this tax plan, either because of the static effects or the dynamic effects. But if you put it all together, you know, looking at what's happened in the market this year, I don't think that anybody's worried about what's going to happen to people who can afford $1 million homes.
Kevin, what can you do? What can Republicans do to sell this in a more effective way to the American people? Because the Democrats are already out calling it a scam. I don't know how you get to that. Hashtag GOP tax scam. But they are going to focus on the fact that the corporate tax cuts are permanent and the ones on individuals and pass-throughs expire in 2025, I believe.
Right. Well, you know, the fact is that we would love all of this stuff to be permanent, but we understand that the Senate has budget rules, and they've adhered to those rules in a way that has created a bill that is going to be passed tomorrow. We're highly confident of that. And I think that what happens next is that, you know, you can be sincere about something, but then sincerely wrong. We've been sincere about how to sell this thing. The American people don't care about what we said in the past. What they care about is what happens next year. If we get the economic growth, the wage growth, the evidence suggests that we will, then the Americans are going to celebrate this bill. And, you know, a lot of people have been talking about how, oh, the polls on the bill don't look so good. But don't forget that the only poll that matters is that President Trump ran on this. He said he's going to do it, and he delivered, and they voted for him, and he won. And so I think that they wanted this to happen, and now they're going to watch as the economy responds. And if you look at markets or anything else, there are a lot of signs that this is going to be a big success.
But you don't think one Democrat will vote for it? I want to point out 33 Democrats in the Senate voted for the Reagan tax reform, which, by the way, took the marginal rate down to 28%. Even the Bush tax cuts in 2001, 12 Democrats in the Senate, including Dianne Feinstein, voted for that. So are no Democrats going to get on board with this? And when did the world change that basically letting people keep more of their money is evil?
Yeah, and it goes back to the thing that I was saying about sincerity, that everybody in the White House sincerely believes that this is going to help America. But if you listen to the Democrats, then we're a bunch of liars who are trying to give money to the rich. And you know that's not true. I think that what we have to do is move away from these partisan times when we start trying to do what's right. And I think we'll have an opportunity next year because as we go towards welfare reform and as we go towards infrastructure, I think, you know, ask anybody, how do you think the infrastructure in the U.S. is doing? You know, ask the poor people at the Atlanta airport last night. And welfare reform, do you think our welfare programs are helping poor people enough? Do you think that people are moving towards earned success at the rate that we all would accept? I don't think so.
Well,
so I think that there's a hope
speaking of welfare administered through the tax code, Marco Rubio, as a last-minute wrench that he threw into the tax bill, was demanding that $1,400 or that more of the $2,000 child tax credit was, so it's $1,400 of it is refundable. Are you okay with that? Because I've called that welfare, because that's money to people who don't pay taxes.
Right. You know, the difference is that I think that we all have a different opinion about how much we should redistribute in order to maximize sort of ex post inequality. But all of us agree that equal opportunity is something that America should strive for. And I think one reason why the child credit has been so popular in the past is it is one of the features of the code that equalizes opportunity. We're giving money to families with kids so that those kids have the resources they need to have a warm jacket and a meal in their belly and so on. And so, you know, I think that we originally were shooting for something slightly smaller than that, but we're big supporters of the child credit because it does equalize opportunity. And I respect Senator Rubio for, you know, getting it expanded. Again, it wasn't exactly the first on our list at the end of the game, but we're happy to see that we've got a bill that can pass on Tuesday.
I think others, like myself, would call it political posturing. That, you know, but anyway, one thing that...
Well, it has a real effect. It really does have a real effect. It's a lot of money for families with children.
One thing that I want to bring up is some uncertainty in this tax bill, soon to become law, more than likely, is the fact that you're going to have to write rules on basically who qualifies for this pass-through tax deduction and who doesn't. How long is that going to take, Kevin? Because, again, that's what really people who have pass-through entities and that's how they're taxed are waiting to see. That could take up to a year out of the Treasury Department, right?
You know, I've been Secretary Mnuchin, as you know from his history as a producer and a successful businessman, is a guy who gets results. And I've been watching him organize the team because, you know, not just getting the pass-through entities organized, but even just getting the withholding tables changed so that when people get their check and they take it home, that it reflects the change in the law. And so that team is working at a rate that I've just never seen before. And I expect that people are going to see changes in their checks probably by, you know, February or March.
Right.
You know, and so what that means, though, is that you could go shopping for Christmas right now, and by the time you have to pay your credit card bill, that you're going to have a tax cut.
Kevin, I can't believe you're telling people to basically to go shopping with their debt. They're already shopping. Retail sales in November were up 5.8% from a year ago.
Right, because that's everybody's so optimistic about the economy that's being delivered by these tax cuts and by deregulation and by the plans we have for next year.
One thing I'm going to put you on the spot about this. How fast is the economy going to be able to grow with this in the next year, next 2 years? Because we've heard 4, 5, 6% from Steve Mnuchin and even President Trump. And when President Trump said 6%, he was widely mocked for that.
You know, I think that as chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, sometimes I feel a little bit like my job's to be Scotty in the engine room, right, and to remind everybody, hey, you can't go above warp 10. The fact is that we're growing at about 3%, and I think with a tax cut like this, we should go up from there. We should have sustained growth at 3%. And if you look at a sustained growth at 3% year, a lot of times there's some 4s and 5s and some 1s, and it averages to 3. And so I think the president and Secretary Mnuchin are right that we're likely to see a quarter or two where you get really, really high growth. But I think that we are at a sustained 3% level right now. And that's something that the president's critics said was impossible when he took office.
That's right. Kevin, thank you so much. I think last time we had sustained growth of 4%, north of 4% in the 1990s. So
yeah, it's the late 90s, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin, thank you so much. Kevin Hassett
thank you.
At the White House.